So next, what we'll be doing is going into, I got a copy of Gregor Mhyr's snow and ice and his environmental program. And I'll go through it very quickly, but the 3 points that I would like you guys to take home on is the containment of the liquid de-icer and the spill containment portion, as well as the coverage of your salt and sand, as well as you're monitoring, being aware where you store that if you're close to a creek, and knowing where your stormwater systems go. I think that's the big takeaway here. But what I'll do now is I'll share the screen. Okay, so Gregor shared this with me in his regional road maintenance with the S4F, and I thought it would be applicable to here. Let's see. And what I want to say is, first off, is that salt is a pollutant, and when we're using it on the roads, whether it's in a water softener or through fertilizers, that it all is not good for the environment. This right here shows the United States and how much is the final cost per ton for salt, and you can see on the East Coast that they use quite a bit of salt products compared to what we do out here on the West Coast. I'll talk to you about a little bit about this when we're doing snow plowing and salting the roads. We are doing this as an emergency response, but the Department of Ecology regulates the ground and surface water, and we need to adhere to the best practices. Here's a slide of up on Hyack where they pushed off the snow, and the sand impacts some of the creeks up there off of I-90. Also, it attracts, wildlife. It also does, you get kills of birds having too much salt, so something to be aware of. What we've learned is that it's subject to killing the branches on some of the trees, and they coordinate with the U.S. Forest Service on monitoring this. Also, we've taken they've taken samples in 54 locations, usually pre-winter and then post-winter, and so who regulates this? The storage practices, the Department of Ecology, and the Environmental Protection Agency, and you could get those in the Stormwater Manual or for the BMPs. Who's responsible for the BMPs? We are, cradle to grave, proper storage, and sampling. Here's a good example of how they bulk and store. This is very similar to what we have here in Newcastle. The sand and salt is combined, and we're using a newer product this year. The liquid de-icer, the point that I want to make sure that everyone has is that spill containment, making sure that it has the capacity of the tank and 1/2 more. Good housekeeping is always needed, to make sure that it's all swept up, and having communication with your operation and maintenance managers. There's a good example of the salts being covered and then it getting tracked out. Again, we've talked about putting in like a curtain so it preserves the salts and not getting rain and ultimately getting runoff. They over at DOT, I saw that they were mudding up between the ecology blocks when they use the ecology blocks. So that's a good point. You can see here, it's the containment. Here's some good examples of what not to do. Here is different valves on your liquid storage and how to manage those. And what I want to bring up here is it's important just to do inspections. When you're doing your SWIPS inspections, we try to do it monthly, but there's we're out there pretty much every week, and if we see something that is problematic, we try to make modifications to that. We have spill response with secondary containment. Being prepared is the key here, and making sure that you're able to dispose of it appropriately. Making sure that you're not within the areas where you are storing it, that you have, possible wells. What is that within a floodplain, within, public wells areas, or a sole source aquifer. The other, you could see on this slide here, this holds, they put some great stuff in between the blocks to hold the containment. You can see over here, they did a retrofit and sealing off the wall so it doesn't leak out the bottom of the wall. And you can see that they paved it instead of having a area that keeps it a little bit cleaner. And here is the salt curtains that I talked about earlier that would help with saving you money and runoff. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. Anybody have any questions on the snow and ice? And remembering your requirements for your NPDES permit.